Thank you for following.
Microphone check 1 2. How you guys doing? Welcome back for another developer CSC developer Q&A session with me, Bitcoin Louie, and Fazri, who's going to be coming on very shortly. Just wanted to say hello to you guys. Make sure the chats are working. Make sure the notifications are working. So far, so good. To start this off, we should add. I had this idea from Super Crypto Bros, aka Axe. We should add some Lino to the chest, which will open shortly. All right, it's 4 o'clock. All right, so we got 500 Lino loaded up, and we're gonna open in just a second. I'm gonna let you guys come on in. Welcome, 30 viewers. Couple of shout outs. What do we see here? We see CSC Cappuccino, IBL Games, Crypto Block Dan, Geeky Rivers here, Gunslinger.
Thank you for your monetary support.
No Boom with the diamond. Thank you so much.
Thank you for following.
Crypto Joe, hit us with the follow. Nice, nice. Reminiscent. Brett BEP is here. Nice. Space Unicorns here. All right. Wow, we are up to 50 viewers already. Welcome, welcome. So we've got some great questions. Oh my god. Some beefy answers as well. You guys, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with that inside joke, but Togs is lurking. All right, so we'll start. We're gonna be starting right now. We're gonna invite Fazri in.
Hey there, how are you doing?
Hey Fazri, man, I'm excited about this. How about you?
Oh, I'm ecstatic.
Nice, nice.
It's gonna be fun.
I know. When I heard that you guys were reading over the questions, and I think it was Ruby who was telling me, she's like, I can't wait for this one. Oh, we can see you now.
There we go. I got the appropriate live long and prosper going here.
Nice.
I'm Trekified.
And really quick shout out right off the bat.
Data.
Ooh, wow, that's very loud. Hold on. We got hosted 50 viewers.
Data
Super Crypto Bros.
The Federation Starship.
Ooh,
that's awesome. Thanks.
Oh my goodness, that was very loud though. That's who I wanted to shout out right now. He did a warm up stream, where he gave, he was streaming some gameplay and got the energy flowing for our Q&A session today. Thanks guys, thanks for the follows, thanks for the donations. So let's open up the chest and then we'll get started with some questions.
Thank you for following.
All right, distributing rewards now.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for following.
Cool,
Have
cool.
this open here so I can see.
All right.
Thank you for
So,
following.
63 people. It's a good start.
Oh yeah, we're doing well here. So right off the bat, we've had time to review some of these questions.
Thank you for following.
We'll just start off with, like, is there one that comes to your mind that you are most excited to bring up, or did you want me to start?
Well, I think maybe first we'll start with just like a general overview of CSC, where we're at, how development's going, maybe a quick recap on the time we spent at the Star Trek convention earlier this month, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple of questions pertaining to that, so I think this will be a good way to do this. So first of all, thank you everyone for showing up. 73 people already. I mean, it's awesome. for showing up. I'm glad you guys have all these questions. I feel like soon CSC is going to have a full-time job of like a media correspondent of someone just to answer all this, because the game is deep. Our design docs get bigger and bigger every day, and we are so happy that a lot of you in the community have taken the torch and are really helping spread the word of the game, explaining to new users how to play, and we're going to be utilizing you on top of some other tooling we're making to really help with the onboarding process. But I mean, just the entire team, week over week, is just ecstatic at the growth, and we're just working hard to continue to deliver quality content, updates rapidly, and so looking forward to August 29th when Star Trek ships will first enter the blockchain through CSC. It'll be pretty awesome. Looking forward to seeing everyone flying through space in their Voyagers or Defiance or Enterprises. It's going to be definitely interesting. We had a great test run a couple days ago where we had a USS Voyager fully decked out with a blade of armor, weaponry, and was taking on one of our harder NPC spawns at the Mercury station, the Mercury spawn, if you guys are familiar. And it was just a treat to hear the phasers fire, hear those photon torpedoes. We have transphasic torpedoes, seeing the blade of armor come on. It was just like all this love of Star Trek mixed in with CSC, with our drones attacking and other devs helping as supporting with CSC ships. It was a great amalgamation of like things we love as developers and two brands, CSC and Star Trek, which seems to be a very good fit for this event. So we're super looking forward to getting you guys in there playing and excited about this. And at 81 people, can we break 100?
Oh man,
I think so
nice.
Today. What do you think, Bitcoin?
No, I think we can do it for sure. Oh, I made some adjustments, guys. I know there were some requests. We had some sound with the alerts. We're going to turn those down so that we can hear you clearly.
It looks like my video is still a little choppy, so sorry about that. So that's the Star Trek event. So we went over, we were invited by our partners to speak at the Star Trek convention. I was on 3 panels. First one was with all the other Star Trek games, which was really cool to see the number of different types of Star Trek games and then talk to the fans of those games and understand really what they're looking for out of their Star Trek gaming experience. And it varies quite a bit between Trexels and Star Trek Online and then Fleet Command, which is a very different type of game. So it was really enlightening to hear that and kind of helps us plan for potential future events, assuming this one goes great. And we're really excited about that. And hopefully this will be a longer partnership.
Definitely. Can I do a quick shout out to Jose? Yeah. Gunslinger.
Gunslinger.
Yeah, he set up his mobile phone to stream to our community. So there was a few of us hanging out in Twitch and in our YouTube channel. And we were watching the speeches and the overview that you gave, and I think that's when we first found out the release date.
Yeah, I know. That was fun, right?
That was a nice surprise. That was awesome. Yeah. So that was really cool. So thanks, Jose, for that.
Yeah, Jose did an amazing job. We had most of our CSC core team was there. Some unfortunately still had to stay back and work, but it was great to have enough coverage, and really it was the one-on-one interactions we had off stage with fans, just walking through the floor, explaining what the game is, what the excitement about it. And the Star Trek conventions, for those who've never been, are really big around collecting. They have a lot of physical collectibles. It's really where you go to get autographs and things signed. Actually, just did get one autograph. If anyone knows some obscure DS9 facts, I'm sure you'll recognize Vic Fontaine. One of my favorite characters in the series. Getting a Star Trek geek out for a second, but got his autograph on a CD. It was kind of a fun moment.
That's awesome.
I digress. Back to CSE.
It was your first time going, right?
So the Star Trek convention. So that was a great experience. We were really able to connect with the fans. I think there's one question in here. Might as well answer it now. Like, how do we felt the convention went? Well, it went really well. We had, I think, about 1,000 of these that we were laying out in the vendors table and handing out at our presentations and putting on seats. And we pretty much went through all of them. I think we had a couple hundred left that's still in the office. And it was really interesting to see how that people were interested, 2 were excited. It says details, date of the event, the CSE game URL. So looking forward to seeing them join the game, hopefully around the Star Trek event. But I think from a marketing perspective, it was a solid event for us and really is going to help us build some buzz. Starting tomorrow, we should be having our Star Trek official announcement posts go live that will have the details of the event, quantities of ships, which I know a lot of you guys have been speculating, and you'll get your answers tomorrow, and how the auction is going to work for the six First Fleet ships. And I think after going back and forth on this quite a bit, we decided to stick with our roots, and we're going to go reverse Dutch auction style, but on a very short time period, about 4 to 5 days. So it'll be a quick drop, and it'll be a great opportunity for someone to come in and pick it up when they feel the price is right. We chose this in lieu of a standard English auction, mainly because I think we rather see... we really like how it worked for us in the past. And even though some companies have had more successful English auctions or English auctions success currently, we're still believers of this Dutch-style auction, at least for the Star Trek event for this time around. So we're looking forward to doing that one again. I think that's basically it on the Star Trek convention. Well, let's go to general CSC update. So the team is firing in all cylinders. For those who are aware with just the general happenings at Lucid Sight, recently we released our mobile app for MLB Champions. Once that app went live, I was able to get a couple more engineers onto the CSC team. So we've added some additional horsepower, and we're driving full force trying to hit our 1.0. And CSE is an ambitious game. I talked about this last time. It has a lot of features. It's grown in scope from our original conversations, but I hope you're all seeing that we're delivering on that. We're delivering on the quality, the security. Most recently, we had that minor scare where our systems, kudos to Farhan, one of our lead architects for Scarcity Engine, for creating a system that was able to have enough fail-safes to protect from situations that would normally cripple a game economy. So we are thrilled and excited at our pace of growth. We are super excited at what we're currently working on for 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and even the 5.5 that we have coming out later this week, potentially tomorrow or Monday. 5.5 should be live, counting 5.3 that'll come out today just for a quick hot fix. There's a lot of improvements that are coming to the game. Still a lot more that need to happen, a lot of UI that needs to be updated, a lot of information that needs to be presented, and better onboarding process for new users. But I feel like we're in a really good place where when we are live on Steam, new users will come in, have an idea of what to do, we'll have some ships to start with, and we're really going to be able to start testing and growing this game. Another big update that's going to happen with the 5.5 release, actually I think it might be coming with 5.32 that we're going to release later today, is we're switching over to our Beefy production servers. So they'll be hosted on Multiplay's infrastructure. For those not familiar with Multiplay, they're a subsidiary of Unity. They host Apex Legends and a lot of other top-tier games. We have now migrated our CSC servers and scaling infrastructure into their capable hands, so they're going to be able to help ensure stability and help us grow as the game gets bigger. So a lot of exciting stuff happening. I think that's generally a CSC update. We'll get into some more details as we go through the questions. Louis, anything you have?
Yeah, I was reading through the chat right now, so maybe we could talk about this later, but one of the questions was, do we have any ideas of what the starting prices will be for the reverse Dutch auctions?
I see Super Crypto Bros has suggested $1 million. Billion? No. No. The starting price will be announced in the blog post tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
You guys will know what it is. You'll be able to see at what point the price lands and when you want to come in.
Cool.
So should it be plenty of time to get ETH coordinated if that's what your concern is.
Yeah, we need to get ETH ready for sure. So, but around 4 to 5 days, right? For
correct.
The drop to would be dropping to 0, and then
the event's a total of 5 weeks. We have six ships total, so we're going to be spreading them out. There'll only be one ship going on at a time. winner will happen, ship will transfer, next one will go up.
Cool. Oh, well, maybe this will come in the blog too, but let's just see if we can answer it right now. Is what options did we have for payments on the auctions? So I know we can do ETH for sure. That's obvious.
It's just going to be ETH only. So it'll be a purely ETH auction. For the rest of the ships, you'll have credit card, GFC, and ETH available as an option. And you'll see the distribution method tomorrow. But for the auction, we're going to stick to our roots, and we'll go ETH only.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. I have to... we're going to get some mods in chat. Beefy updates, awesome. Oh, there was another question. Oh yeah, so like, you know, while the game's still invite only, we've got Discord helping out the players. You know, we kept it invite only so that we could help onboard the players and teach them and show them streams. But just like Fazri said, you know, the goal is for the game itself to have an easier onboarding process.
Correct.
Let's see. Let me double check everything.
Oh, was that a question?
No. I kind of want to just comment on that because it got brought up a lot in Discord.
No, and you know, actually, I'll go into this because I know a lot of people in the community are a little worried about us going on Steam, even in early access, with the current state of the game and where it's at. And you know, honestly, there are changes that we're definitely making to get the game in a better place. We're going to be very clear on the gaming description. We're adding more into the description to really outline that this game is in development. This is where we're currently at, and this is where we're trying to get to. I see a lot of excitement in our chat here.
Yeah, I'm taking care of it.
Yeah. So we that is a concern. We're aware of it, and I think right now there's a couple things that really are guiding our decisions here. One, we are learning so much more with you guys in the game than we ever did in our internal testing. Watching and seeing the logs of gameplay, you're opening up our eyes to other opportunities of even game mechanics. And you know, a lot of games, and I've worked on a lot of them, traditionally have this period of like years where it's just the developers on their own, and then they loop in the community for a few short months, and then they get the game out. It's kind of interesting to see with CSC. We're kind of doing this way different. We got you guys in so early in the development process, and you've really helped guide where it's going. And this is an experiment I don't want to end. I want it to continue to be like that. I want to be more active on our Steam forum pages, you know, kind of opening this up so we're getting more information coming in. And we have some really hot, economically changing game features coming in with refining, crafting, and marketplace. And I think it's actually going to benefit us to get a few users in first, then drop these features on Steam, and using each one of these new feature releases as another bump in Steam to be like, hey, check this game out. We have this. Not only that, Steam has done a lot of good stuff with events. So our event-driven game where we're going to have things happen, activities of sorts, where users are going to have to band together or not to solve some issues. It'll be really interesting to see and utilize a lot of these early Steam tools for promoting these events. So I'm really looking forward to getting this out there. I will say, this brought up in the chat a couple times, it's very clear to everyone that we could do a lot more than we're doing right now. We've kind of kept the spawns limited. You're seeing that we have a lot more levers on our back end in terms of changing how things look and where things are at and what comes in. Yes, we can do more. We're being a little bit strategic about this, and we're trying to get a couple of ducks in the row before we start dropping some interesting things for you guys. So
cool. If I could clarify some of the questions in chat, somebody was worried if all of our ships are going to be ETH only. That's not correct. We were speaking about the reverse Dutch auctions for the first of a kind of the Star Trek ships, correct?
Yeah, the first 6 that are ever minted are going to be auctioned. The rest will be credit card, GFC, Ethereum.
Okay. And
okay. So let's get into some of these questions. So I apologize already. We have 41 questions that got submitted on top of any questions you guys want to ask now. I don't think we're going to be able to get through them all. But if we're not able to get through them all, and there was a question that you really want to know the answer to, ping us on Discord. We're going to get a updated sheet of these questions. with written answers, and we'll distribute it to our streamers and community members, and you guys could continue the dialogue and conversation.
Let me read through some.
Someone's asking, can I buy them with PayPal? Yes, you can buy them with PayPal. There will also be potentially some ships that are available through a gameplay activity. TBD on that one. More details tomorrow.
Okay. And then just a shout out for some of our early players who were around for the MEA gameplay. We've got the MEA music playing right now, so that was for them.
And I think Not Sure is asking about Steam's not available in his country. We offer direct download, and you could still purchase via credit card through our website, which we support 178 different countries. So
nice.
So let's jump right into the questions. We got lots to go here. First question, I actually thought this was a great one. This was from Mark Ely. What upcoming feature, which is not currently implemented, do you think will have the biggest impact in CSC? The question is, what feature don't I think will have the biggest impact in CSC? I say if I have to pick one, it's actually going to be multi-ship support, at the minimum with the FTL system. So if you put a ship into FTL, which a lot of you have been doing, if you have 20 hours, 36 hours, basically right now you can't do anything. Mm-hmm. Never been the intent, never the way we want to have it. We actually have this feature already working. It's just missing UI, which will be a reoccurring theme in this conversation, by the way. But you will be able to swap out of a ship that's in FTL and drop into another station where you have ships and be able to pilot those and do other things. So this will give users the ability to be a little bit more strategic, especially the ones who have, a lot of ships, send them out to different places, and while they're in FTL, be able to hop out and go to a station. To be clear, there will be some limitations on this, just because we don't want users hopping around ships across the universe that easily. Basically, the limitation will be you could only leave a ship if it's in FTL, mm-hmm. and then you could return to the ship if it's in FTL. And that's basically it. So you wouldn't be able to be at Sol Station in a ship and then jump yourself over to Proxima in a different ship. It has to be an FTL to FTL switch.
There's a funny comment in chat right now. It says FTL sucks for streaming. That is not true, sir. I had a 24-hour stream of just that, and it did well.
That was an amazing stream. I remember just looking at my phone, like, who's streaming? Oh, Bitcoin Louie. Great. And you weren't the first. There was another streamer actually did that first. I can't remember who it was though.
Nice. I saw Nuke do it. I saw Grinder do it. It was fun times.
It's funny. It's one of those features that we had a lot of heated debates about because games are very now. You play now. You instant gratification. This was something that really had a strategic decision-making quality to it because you couldn't just play now. You had to wait. Mm-hmm. Like there's a 36-hour waiting period to get to a station system. It just it intuitively did not make sense, but from the aspect of the space game and then in terms of mechanics, we want to introduce like FTL mods, which will become a lot more apparent and a lot more functional and valuable to users. Jump drives, it's a big plus for some of our early players. There's some jump drives that are currently available. They will be using GFC fuel as we roll that feature out. Actually, to augment my question here, I'd say FTL multi-ship travel and Trilight fuel usage. Those are two features I'm really looking forward to getting in the game, which I think will change a lot for a lot of players.
Cool.
And then refining, marketplace, crafting, and I'm actually a big fan of our colonist worker system. It was something I had a lot of hands in for the design, and I feel like it's a very fun strategic play that kind of brings a little bit more strategy to it. From the way we use colonists and workers to having to maintain them with food, water, and supplies, and creating like trade routes and like, oh shit, I can't leave my workers without food for another week or else they are going to quit and then I'll lose them working at this research station or doing some other activity for me. I need to go back and make sure they have their supplies or pay another player to do it. It's quite exciting. How many different Star Trek ship types will there be besides the 6 types available during? It's just going to be those 6. So Those 6 will be the first 6 of it, and then we're going to have a quantity of distribution for the rest of them. I will say right now, everyone who participates in this event in terms of purchasing one of the items out of it will get a shuttle. That's going to be pretty standard, and that's the runabout class ship. But the other ships are going to have some limited quantities depending on size, scarcity, availability.
Now, is the shuttle one of the 6 that are being auctioned?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So we will have the first shuttle ever minted, which will be auctioned.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Bitcoin, do you have a question? Or a question from the list?
Reading. There was... Might not even be on the list, but I was curious. As far as referrals, are we working on getting any kind of dashboard for tracking referrals? Because I know a lot of the content creators love to, get the word out and then track the progress of how that's going.
So the good news is we've been tracking that in a user stats collection since the start. There's actually a couple content creators or individuals that messaged me early on, and I was able to give them just a quick dump of what the data looks like. And this actually brings us back to a question on here and kind of a bigger point. Right now, our goal is to slowly move away from supporting, from adding features to the website and focusing all on client. We want our client to be our central place of interaction for the game. There'll always be some web features to support Ethereum Marketplace and other items like that. But by focusing our development efforts on the client, we have a lot more engineers familiar with working in Unity and then working on web interfaces. We're going to be able to get more of this information out. But you will have a dashboard that shows user activity, and that user activity you can filter down to bounties earned, rewards earned from distribution, everything. How many times you've used a jump gate. All that's currently being recorded and be available to everyone. Oh yeah, Crypto Block Dan has seen this information. He was one of the people who had asked.
Very nice.
And now I'm going to get flooded with requests.
I was going to say. Very good news as a content creator myself. There's a funny question. Will there be Borg cubes? I've been asked by my friends in real life.
Oh my god! You know what's funny? That was also like the number one request we got at the Star Trek convention. People really want a Borg cube. We had considered that early on, but we wanted to stick with mostly Federation ships and the one Klingon for this round. Again, you guys are going to help us make this an epic event, a great talking point for Star Trek. Potentials for more if everything goes well. So,
cool.
Let's go to another question here. Can we have some examples? So I don't have a good answer for this, but I want to bring this up. Can we have some examples of what GRP, PIPs, GRP will be used for? And this is from Astro80. So GRP is going to be the universal in-game currency. It's soft currency. It's not going to be able to be purchased. It's only going to be able to be earned, and it's primarily what you're going to be using when interacting with NPCs in the game and purchasing items like standard equipment modules from GFI stations. Precise or example pricing, I don't want to say anything right now because we've changed it internally a dozen times. So it will be our standard currency. There's another question that talks about a mission system, which I'm really glad that brought up because that's actually one of the things we have done and pending UI implementation. We want to start doing GRP rewards for ferrying cargo, or we might have a Galactic Federation request for taking Object A to Station B that's 36 or 48 hours away. It's a good way to start getting that in-game currency economy going. GFC, towards the 1.0 release of the game, is going to be primarily reserved for augmentations to the game, visual updates to the game, increasing time and speed for crafting or travel. But it's going to shift away from being your source for getting modules and even potentially ships other than some limited event ships that we might be dropping from time to time. We want the game to skew more to player activity is what leads to currency generation, which leads to better equipment. So it's really more about gameplay to start improving your ships, and less about random drop rolls for items coming closer to our 1.0 release. I think that was another question I answered to that one. Louis, question?
So like, let's talk about like skins or cosmetic changes. Which ones would probably apply there? GRC, or GRP, or GFC? Or neither?
GFC will probably, actually it might be both, but primarily GFC. Because, as a game, we're creating an MMO, servers are expensive to run, content's expensive to run. We do need to keep some level of monetization. We've looked at everything from monthly fees to vanity items, and we've talked to other MMOs in this genre, and a lot of them have moved to free-to-play with vanity item model that seems to be sustainable for them. So we're looking at all options, but right now we're really just focused on completing core features, getting a solid gameplay loop in, and improving security across the board on everything we do to maintain economic integrity.
Thank you for following.
There's a question there from Dr. Troll about stopping bots. This is something, actually, I want to do a couple shout outs here, but one quick shout out to Freak, one of the players in our guild, or in our game. And he is been phenomenal at helping us find some really critical bugs, and providing us repo instructions and how he was able to hit those. And we've been fixing stuff from him for the last few weeks. But it's players like that and other players out here that are reporting these issues as they come up that are really helping us harden this game. For stopping bots, like creating bot proofing a game is difficult even for companies with unlimited funds. We have some things in play and some things we're going to be looking at for examining patterns for how a player plays. If it starts looking too robotic, we'll be making modifications or booting the player off or doing things. But a lot of that's going to be coming towards our 1.0 release. Some of it's already in place and we're getting reports. We're just not moving any actions into it. For the most part, the people who have botted have reported it, showed us how they did it, and we're devising ways to counter that.
Cool. Yeah, I want to shout out Freak as well too. He's been reaching out to me, and we'll try to replicate the problem. And really cool guy. I appreciate he didn't exploit anything. Just came straight to us with it.
Oh, 100. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. It's awesome. Are we on front page of DLive? I'm not checking. I feel like we should be at this point.
With 100 viewers, I'll check right now.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys. Well, with that said, why don't I open the chest? We put 1,000 Lino in this chest,
let's
guys.
do this. Let's do the chest. We'll take a minute.
Let's open the chest. 3, 2, 1. It's going to reward the most chatters, I guess.
Well, hopefully not the ones that were spamming.
No, they've been muted and kicked out.
Man, we're getting a ton of follows today.
Very nice. Welcome Zebest. Welcome XZC. Freak's here. There you go. Freak 0. Efra's here.
All right. Well, while the chest is opening, I'll go into actually something. I think it's a question down here, but I might have lost it. Talk about our GFI security fleet. So we've gotten a lot of feedback from new players that are fresh into the game. They need their safe space to start playing. That is absolutely coming. We implemented a really cool interactive security system with our GFI fleet, and as with any really cool interactive thing, prone to some bugs. So we've been fixing those. We're hoping to have them live on 5.5 before we go live onto Steam. But if it doesn't, it'll come shortly after. Right now, there is no loss of items, so it's not critical, but I know that first-time experience, if you're coming into the game and all of a sudden you're being blown up, it's no fun. No one wants to deal with that. And we really want first-time users to have a little bit more time in the game. And we have a couple other solutions that we're trying to avoid. We could do a blanket no-kill zone in Sol and prevent any player PvP. We might implement with that as soon as we drop this next feature, which should be in either 3.2 or 0.5 that's coming out this week or next week, which will be home stations. So you as users will now be able to define a home station. A home station will be where your assets go when they're recalled, It could be set once every 30 days. And that's where also your items will appear when you open up crates. So we will start distributing new users to home stations around Seoul, just to create a little bit more spread out area, just so everyone's not always pushed back to that same station and creating a lot of traffic there. So that should be hitting either on today's update or the 5.5 tomorrow or Monday. So
that's cool.
Keep an eye out for that.
I mean, I personally kind of liked it. I used to hang out by the GFI home station to socialize, because everyone kind of pops there. They spawn there, or they go there to drop off the resources, and I'll drop a little hello and chat.
No, it's great, but at the same time, splitting between multiple systems will also help us with scalability. While our servers are beefy, it definitely will help distribute the load. We have no clue what Steam release is going to do for us. It could take us from right now, where I think we're 1,000 weekly active users, consistently over 150, 200 users a day, to maybe 5,000 a week or a month, or a year, or not a year, or 5,000 a week or a month, 10,000. We actually don't know. We're hoping for a lot of users to be interested and have some nice, slow, steady growth until we hit like our 1.0, and then really inflect it up with full Steam marketing and all our follow-up marketing with that. Or we just might hit 15,000 users day one when we launch this, and then it'll be a quality problem to have to make sure we're scaled, ready, and then handling user inquiries that come in. So it's really exciting. I think a lot of people who come to the game and see the game will understand the current state of it. I think it's in a solid state for early access, but definitely a lot more communication onboarding is needed.
Yeah, very cool. I'm excited to harden and beef up the Discord server too. There's a few Discord bot features that we can implement to make things easier for new players and stuff. So awesome. I'm looking forward to that too.
Let's find another question here. Oh, here's a good one from Bitcoin Prog. I don't know what that says. Bitcoin something. Not you, Louis.
Yeah.
There is drop-down commands that have different maneuvers for a ship when you're attacking. And there's one, evasive maneuvers. Are there any plans for any other pre-programmed maneuvers? Absolutely. That's the entire point of the system. This is going to be more apparent in fleet control. We've talked about this a little bit, of having up to 3 ships commanded at the same time, and some type of formation action is in scope or in our roadmap of scope. But that's a fun one.
What are we talking about here? The evasive maneuver?
Yeah. So basically, that menu system will have other options as new features come to the game.
Cool. Because right now I've noticed when in battle, I can't really dodge any of the DPS, right?
And so there for those who played our pre-alpha, you might remember that there was also a miss. When someone's firing at you, the weapon might hit and you might see a miss. There's also a critical. Those are 2 features that we have not enabled yet. Similar to most MMOs, there is chance that when a weapon hits your ship, it is not a direct hit, and there is a chance that you could score a critical hit or a non-critical hit. This is basically going to be displayed in the logs, displayed in the pop-up over the ship. It's right now something we have set to 100%. We've gone back and forth on whether we want to have miss. There's some logic behind, we're in space, you have great targeting computers. If you fire, there's a hit, there's always a hit. But definitely we want criticals to start coming in and being a factor of weapons. So you might start seeing a critical value appear on some modules, or modules that are specifically designed to increase your targeting accuracy, creating critical hits.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be some fun stuff coming.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that because right now, without dodging, it felt like I couldn't get out of like a bad situation, but with evasive maneuvers.
So weapons have a very limited distance, except for some of them, like the Shredder. I think I've seen Super Crypto Bros do this the best with this strafing maneuver when taking on NPCs. By flying, strafing, and getting out of range, you're negating a lot of that damage they're firing at you. what might happen, what we had in our earlier versions, where if you had a ship that moved very quickly, you'd still see it physically get hit by the weapon, but the weapon will deal less damage or it'll say a miss. And that was basically taking into account the ship's velocity into the effectiveness of the weapon being fired at it.
Nice.
Since we're in an MMO, there's certain limitations in how we have to set things up. But this is there's so many cool little features and levers and tools that we have, and we're looking forward to releasing. I get really excited thinking about what this game is going to be in just a few weeks, not forget a few months.
Nice. Yeah, I used a similar maneuver when I was in Mars. I'd start mining, they'd come after me as a huge wave, and then I'd take a lap around Mars. They'd get lost, and then I'd go mine for like 10 seconds and then do the same thing again.
It's awesome. Yeah. The NPCs are something really fun in the game, and they're only getting better every time we make an update here. So next thing, questions. So many questions. Captain Obvious, could you clarify if a Voyager is a cargo or mining ship? Type says cargo, reads like mining. Do you plan on having a system for clearly identifying players? Because right now you could just change your name. Yeah. So 2 things. Name changing at will eventually go away, be replaced on a fee basis with a time limit. So if you want to change your name, first time is free, but you can only do it every 2 weeks. After that, every 2 weeks, but it'll cost you some GFC, just to prevent people from keep changing their names to pretend to be other people. Mm-hmm. In terms of properly identifying users, yes. Clan tags are in our short list of things to come up. It might be a manual approach in this first iteration where clan leaders will have to let us know which players to tag, and we could tag them for you through customer service, and then they'll show up with a tag on their ship when you're flying around, and we could even do something to prevent friendly fire. Next thing on that question was, all right, the Voyager. Voyager is a transport ship. I think best thing to compare Voyager to is Firefly. It is a universal ship that is designed for transporting cargo. It's built by Vulcan, and Vulcan is mainly industrial, so it has some mining attributes to it. This becomes a lot more clear when we properly implement ship buffs. Ship buffs are attributes that will buff up the ship's capability. For example, mining ships will get a debuff to the amount of power mining lasers take. Mining lasers as a whole are going to get a massive power increase. So it will really balance out why a prospector is a better mining ship than, let's say, a Firecat. Where the Firecat might be better if you're solo mining because you can defend yourself, it's more versatile. A prospector might be something you'd use in a small group because you'll get a higher yield, but it's not going to be really well to defend itself.
Okay. You did mention recently in Discord about the buffs coming to specialty ships.
Yes. So we have actually a whole bunch of ship features that are completed and just pending design review, fine-tune, customization, release. I know the DARP ships, the DAP radar promotional ships we created, those actually have a really cool EMP feature that's going to be implemented soon. It is going to have FTL disruption capability as an extra, and will come in with FTL weapons. FTL disruption is now implemented from our code base, so there's logic in the game to support it. The weapons aren't enabled yet, but should be very shortly. We're trying to kind of pace out and harden a new module system, release it with one of our minor updates, and continue having things players can test. Along with that, both the Frost Saber and Night Saber and the Vulcan Harvester need their specialty mining beams. Those will be implemented soon. And we actually did a full reconfiguration, mainly for the Star Trek ships, but we're going to be applying the system to the rest of our ships. We've changed the way we define turret points on ship models. That gives us a lot more flexibility to utilize things like a giant cannon on top of the Frost Saber. So we can now dictate and say only fire this type of weapon from this cannon. So that cannon will only fire beams, and other points in the ship will fire torpedoes or missiles or things like that. Let's see here.
This kind of taps into something we asked earlier. When is ship customization arriving? Example, different colors, guild stickers on the side of ships.
I'm going to say, since ship customization is purely vanity, but I think also an area where we're going to end up monetizing pretty regularly, it's going to be a 1.0 or post 1.0 feature. The hooks are all in there. We're able to swap out materials and colors and unique looks for the ships, but I really want to keep the development team focused on core feature implementation, security implementation, and really getting this game out there. CSC, again, I'll say, is a beast of a game, and we're really taking this from an approach like, let's get core features in, let's do them right, let's do what the game needs and release as they're ready. So that feature, well, I think it's going to be really cool, and I can't wait to see clan-specific skins, maybe some UGC coming.
Nice.
It's going to be a 1.0 feature.
On the topic of priorities, there's this question: can we get bananas as official ship scaling?
Yes, we will do bananas to officially scale ships. Maybe we'll do an updated. Well, actually, we haven't updated a ship diagram that will be coming out that shows the Star Trek ships and their sizes.
Oh, nice.
Maybe we'll do a banana version.
Afterglow, I'm gonna have to give you credit on that one.
Yeah. So let's see here. There's David GU Dex is asking, is there a timeline for API release? Relatively soon, within the next few weeks. We're just going through a security pass on everything right now after our small hack scare a few weeks ago. Luckily, our systems worked and no damage was done, but now we're just being extra cautious. As these things are being updated, we will be getting back to you guys on general third-party access for that. And this is just in general, we're going to have third-party API access that anyone can use to verify quantities that are stored in Scarcity Engine and get general ship statistics. There's some bits of information that we need to, from a gameplay reason, start considering hiding. For example, knowing the exact location of any NFT item in the game world is cool, except for if a player is piloting that ship, it'd be an easy way to track them down if you're bounty hunting or something like that. So we're going through the process of thinking through scenarios and figuring out ways to obfuscate that type of data. There's a question here.
What we just answered. Do you mind if I follow up on that?
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Can I ask a question? So previously we had like I don't know what to call it, but a non-public API, right, with keys. So is that part like on hold? Because I wanted to properly set up the Discord for like requests on how to get to our API, but with the public one coming soon, maybe we're just going to kind of focus on that.
Yeah, so the non-public API is the current game and website API. The users are using to access it. And it's fine. Most of that information is public and meant to be accessed. The one thing I will say, because this has come up several times in DMs with users, CSC is still in development. Modules, and I think this is a question here, module stats and even some ship stats can be changed and probably will be changed. Right now is probably not the best time to make secondary market purchasing decisions on a module because you like this feature it does right now. There's some things in generality that you can count on, like a mining laser will always be a mining laser, but will this always be the best mining laser? Short of it saying is the best mining laser in the description, that could be a bug or misbalanced at this point. So just CSC is a game in development. It's flexible. Just always remember that when you are looking at items to get. Crafting still needs to come in, user-generated content in terms of crafting and refining. There's a lot of moving pieces in this game, so be cautious. Another thing I want to remind everyone about, please always be cautious when you're doing player-to-player trades. Try to use something like OpenSea to do some secure trades where there's a verified third party. Don't ever send someone ETH directly, or don't ever do a trade where you're dropping an item in space and having someone else pick it up and then expecting them to send you money or items for it. just rule of thumb, MMO 101. This happens in every game. People are out there. Some will scam you. Just PSA notice.
Mm-hmm. Definitely don't sell any kind of private seeds, private keys, none of that. Try to avoid situations where it requires trust. And even if someone's been trustful, they could be playing the long-term, con. Yeah. So
I mean, I remember there was actually several cases of this in EVE. I used to play EVE a lot in college, and some people would play a months-long con where they'd join a guild, an alliance, they'd go deep into it, get full station access, and then overnight switch back to their other persona, take all those items out, and they're gone. Thinking about a game like CSC, where we're using crypto-secured economies, where these items are actual NFTs, just like those games, CCP never went and took those items back and gave it to the user who lost them. That was within the rules of the gameverse, so everyone just needs to be cautious about this one. Standard MMO practice 101. That actually reminds me of another good question I wanted to talk about. Let's see if I can find it. Do you have another question for me while I'm looking for this one?
I want to make a comment. Allegra is asking, why does Louis get to ask all the questions? So, we want to focus on the user-submitted questions that we did in Discord. We are going to look, I'm trying to look out for questions here in chat too. So keep those coming as well, but we're going to be trying to balance the two.
Yeah, and just to be clear, like a lot of Louis' questions are touching on these questions here from Discord, so I'm looking at those. Quick and easy one. Is there any plans to bring CSC to Stadia, or I'm assuming any game streaming service? Not at the moment, but potentially open in the future. I like this one. Recent Now had a question about most ships have set hardpoints, but it appears that they have scope to increase the number of hardpoints. How is this going to be achieved? Is there a designed process to increase available hardpoints in existing ships? Yes. There will be in future, don't know if it's before or after 1.0, modules that will come into existence or they can be discovered that might be able to add a hard point to a ship at the cost of, the module takes up so many slots on your ship. So that is something we've considered, but I would say it's a post 1.0 feature. Insurance. So there's a lot of questions about insurance. I want to make sure I get to that. Examples of insurance. I think the best examples I could give is maybe pointing to a game like EVE Online. Insurance is going to be primarily for in-game currencies, so GRP. It might have a GFC component, but we're kind of looking at how that would work. It will work on a system where this needs to be purchased before the destruction event happens, so you need to have some forethought. And then when the destruction event happens, what you get back will vary depending on a certain level of tier. So for example, all MP ships right now and FF ships, they have unlimited respawn. When you go to make your insurance claim, it gets replicated instantly and you get it back. With FF ships in particular, to prevent abuse of this, there's going to be a cooldown period. So after they get respawned and you go out and get blown up again, you might need to wait an hour, 2 hours, a day, 2 days, and it'll progressively get longer the more consecutive respawn events you're trying to have. And then the cooldown will drop away. And this is just to prevent someone from just continuously going out and let's say attacking users, getting blown up, come back with the same ship, doing it again. To that point, to answer another question, modules in those ships could be potentially lost. Someone asked, there was a question here about module persistence. We have, for the most part, modules are completely lost when the ship is gone. There will be potential mechanics to allow recovering and salvage of some of them. There is a durability system that may or may not go live by 1.0. It's still kind of in flux from a design perspective. This might return like some modules that are in a damaged state. But for the most part, I'd consider modules as a almost consumable item, where if your ship's gone, it's gone. That being said, always consider retreat. Retreat's always an option. Try to make sure you don't get cornered in. And yeah, continue from there. There was a question I really wanted to get to that had to do with where was it here?
While you look for that, there was a question about will there be mods available to enhance the exploration experience directly, and then he references a blog that's showing an exploration beam. From my understanding, that beam is live right now, right? It's the little
correct.
The
but I think the question was like, is there something that would upgrade that beam or provide like a larger search or scanning radius, or I know one of the big features that we're definitely going to get in is scanners that give you a brighter flare when you find resources. If you notice in that blog video, the asteroids are really glowing, and currently, unless you have one of the rare metal scanners, you're not seeing that like really bright emissive. That is by design, primarily because we want to introduce in-game scanning elements that users find, discover, craft, and improve upon. We tried with this first phase of module releases, release with some exceptions, to keep the items kind of like, okay, these are good, and they'll give a great starting point, but we're really expecting users to deconstruct, craft, learn how to craft these, and start getting to version 2s and 3s, or finding whole new types of modules that exist, start bringing that into the ecosystem. We really want this to be a player-driven economy. That's the end goal there. I can't find this question I really liked, so... actually, Ethan02 just asked a question, what approaches in the game are going to be taken to prevent early adopters from dominating the game and giving new players a feeling of importance and achievement? Yeah, so this is like one of our big goals between 0.6, 0.7, 0.7, 0.8, kind of introducing is improving onboarding and really giving the first-time user an experience of like, wow, I don't feel outclassed and outpowered here. In general, the modules and the ships that have been released, they're all Tech 1s. I expect Tech 2s and Tech 3s to start appearing in the game relatively quickly, within a couple weeks or months of crafting coming out. And that starts dominating the base economy. And as that happens, we might be introducing better starter ships for new users coming in to kind of always keep them on a balanced playing field with the general user base. But it's a big important factor for us, that first-time user experience. One of the difficulties of EVE Online today is it's hard to come in and feel that you could do anything of value being 5 or 10 years behind some players. We want to avoid that. We want to instead focus on action equals value. So you coming into the game and spending 36 hours mining, you're able to like earn your way and play your way to catch up and be as powerful as, let's say, Crypto Joe with his crazy, awesome destroyer.
Destroyer like FF, yeah. I love that thing with the armor. You always know it's Joe because he shows up in the ablative armor. Okay. Question, can I ask a quick question? People were asking about, is this video going to be in a replay? Yes, we do have replay enabled. We're going to upload the VODs to Twitch, to YouTube, and to DLive. So yes, they'll be available.
And I think on the next video, we'll figure out why we got so pixelated on this one and get that fixed too. So there's another great question from Cappuccino. K-A-P-P-A-C-I-N-O. Do you have a time frame for two-factor authentication implementation? It's actually already implemented on our APIs. We have support for it using Google Auth. So you'd have to use the Google Auth or a similar plugin and scan the QR code, and then we could trigger two-factor for multiple different types of transactions. Like most of our features, while the backend and logic is done, UI still needs to be implemented and needs to go through testing. So that should be coming out before 1.0. Before we have full persistence and destruction, two-factor authentication will be in there to make sure you have that extra layer of security. And this goes for most of our games. Let's see. Oh, collision. That was it. So is collision damage on the roadmap, or right now we're able to phase through asteroids and other ships? Is that foreseeable in the future? So this is from No Hope U. So this is actually a great question. You'll actually see in today's update in 3.2, there is been a massive improvement to collision detection when it comes to asteroids and other ships and stations. You can still currently clip through planets, so that will be addressed shortly. The ships will now do their utmost not to go through each other. They'll come to a complete stop if they need to. This includes NPCs and current and user ships. There will still be cases where they're going to come really close and be like, all right, I got to clip just to make sure I don't get stuck. It'll clip in those scenarios. But it's a much, much improved collision detection system.
So my concern with that...
Sorry?
I was going to ask a question on that is, so like we're not going to have collision where like a user could lose a ship because of a pilot malfunction?
No. There will never be a point in the game, as far as we see right now, where you could crash into an asteroid or a planet and lose your ship.
Okay, cool.
Just not in the way we designed it. We're going a little bit more MMO-ish. And if you notice in most MMOs, users clip through users.
Mm-hmm.
Collision's not a factor. Even EVE, I believe, collision's not a factor. All right. So we've gone through a good ton of questions here. Dishwasher asked the question, is there other ways to obtain modules other than via purchase? Yes, GRP and in-game missions, in-game drops, NPC drops. Actually, this isn't a question, but I wanted to touch on how we're going to approach NPC loot drops, just because this has been something we've been considering because of the potentials of exploits and potentials of other users coming in and taking someone's loot. So we're going to do our loot drop system as very player to player. So if you're involved in an action where you're taking down a giant NPC, everyone rolls loot separately. Loot appears only for you, and it's only collected by you. And loot appears in the form of a crate. The crate needs to then be opened to see what loot you got at a station. This gives us the ability to put a little bit of a buffer between loot generation and loot claiming, and kind of gives us that same window to see if something fishy happened, and prevent someone from exploiting a loot system.
That's cool.
So I think I mentioned this last time. Think like Destiny is a great example too.
So let me paint a scenario. You're with a team attacking an NPC item, blow it up. There's a drop. Each person sees their own drop?
Correct. Basically, we're going to go auto-collect on drops. So what you're going to see is items will fall out, glowing hexagon kind of spheres, and then they're going to fly to your ship, enter your fly to your ship, enter your inventory, and you'll see it like like one of our loot crates right now.
Very nice. And then they take it back to the station for the redemption, right? The part where...
Correct.
Okay, cool.
And so the color of the crate will tell you like potentially what you have in there, if there's a rare item or non-rare item. And I think that way, one, it's fair for everyone. There's no fighting over who gets the rare loot. It's kind of distributed by the system. There might be incidents or cases where an NPC drops a container that has something that users need to share. We'll play around with that during this alpha days and see how that pans out. But primarily, it's going to be user-specific loot.
Sorry. That sounds cool. Because I could see people...
There's a question here about when we will be able to rent our ships to other players. It'll probably be a 1.0 post feature. Just not in our near-term roadmap for sure.
Oh, I know.
Right now, it's basically core feature and implementation.
There's a relative question here. We're speaking about colors and from the drops. Why do some stations have different color labels? Some are orange, green, or white.
I don't know, Louis. Why?
Oh my goodness.
There is going to be a purpose for that. It'll become more clear. It has to do with our worker and colonist system. And what the colors represent might change, so I'm not going to say anything specific. But it'll be an easy way to identify, like, oh, yeah, this place needs this and this place needs this and this, when you're looking at a system.
Okay. Ryan, I see your questions. Okay, we'll come back. Let me see. Because he's asking if we can go over instant deconstruction versus prolonged deconstruction.
Yeah, so deconstruction is something I've talked a lot about internally. I think I've had a blog post or two on it. But instant deconstruction is I got these items. I just want to get that 1 or 2 blueprint pieces and then start trying to craft it, and I want to recover the resources from it. Instant deconstruction is going to have a limited amount of resources it returns to you. Prolonged deconstruction, you won't get resources back. But prolonged deconstruction is basically you take it to a research station. There is a research facility available. You will need to provide that research facility with researchers or workers. Workers will require food, water, and equipment. You need to provide food, water, and equipment. Then you need to provide them with an item that they could deconstruct, or several items they could deconstruct, and then material to cover the loss every time they deconstruct. And the loss will be smaller. So now you've collected a whole bunch of items. You've dropped it to this station that has a research facility. You set your workers to go, and you say, I want you to deconstruct this 50 times. So every time they deconstruct it, it'll take longer than instant. It'll vary depending on some factors that we're currently still working on. But you're going to get more blueprint pieces out of it. You won't get resources out of it, because what they'll do right after they deconstruct it is they reassemble it with the resources minus loss. They augment that loss with the resources you provided them, and they go again. And they'll keep going until they're out of resources, or you're out of money to pay them, or you're out of supplies for them.
I want to do a quick shout out to Ryan JK, who's running CSC Verse, who's gonna most likely be putting this information together afterwards. If you guys want to see that, whatever's been discussed here is probably going to get condensed down on his site, and we'll do a good job as far as sharing those questions and answers in Discord as well.
So there was a question about royalty that I wanted to get to as well. So actually, that was a great point. I did see the discussion on this one. Do you know how to say that name, Louis? Kappa.
It's cappuccino. So it's a cappuccino drink, but with kappa in front.
Cappuccino. Ha! I'm like, I know that's cappuccino, but is that right? All right. So, cappuccino. Resale royalty. Yes, I did see the discussion you guys had, and that was actually something we had not considered, but it might be something we add with how deconstruction functions. For user-created items, user can create some type of cost of deconstruction. So if someone deconstructs an item, they need to pay, almost like a royalty system. The issue there is communicating to the user when they buy the item that this item has a special case. We have to think through what the UI flow is going to look like that, make sure the user is aware that they're buying an item that they can't just instantly deconstruct. But yeah, we understand, aware, and something we'll be working to address.
This was the question about the resale royalties?
A little bit over an hour here, so maybe one more question. And actually, we did a really good job here. We only have a handful that are still left. So let me pick one.
Ooh, I'd like to answer this question
transport
quickly.
Hangars. So, transport hangars for moving ships around was actually a really easy feature to implement. The issue we came with was how we wanted to display the UI. And as you've noticed, we've changed how the system loadout, the ship loadout UIs looked a couple times. None of it's still final. It's still pretty much a step above programmer art for implementation. Once we have UI lockdown on that, there'll be a ability for you to open up the inventory of a hangar and put ships in to transport them. The other thing we're considering is how we want to handle potentially transporting a ship that has a player in there. So if you dock your ship into Coco's Sigma and he's flying around, when you log into the game, are you looking from Coco's perspective? Are you able to leave it at any time? If Coco logs off, what happens? Are you SOL? Those things. A lot of that needs to be considered in how we're representing the UI. But functionality, it's there, and it's something we really need to get up as soon as possible. And marketplace. When's marketplace? 0.7. So 0.6 refining, 0.7 marketplace, 0.8 crafting is basically our moving forward goal.
Well, I want to answer this question real quick too. How big are each solar system? That was a question I had early on too.
So we use a custom floating point system in our game that basically allows solar systems to be of infinite size. I think we could support coordinate positions the size of our current real universe. So we don't have an arbitrary limit in terms of how far you can fly away. At a certain point when you're flying away, if you notice the coordinates on the top of the screens just start repeating themselves. And basically you don't record that you're at that position. So if you log out and log back in, you're put way closer back. So effectively, I think it's 100 million galactic units.
Wow.
In any direction you could go. But realistically, I don't think we design anything out beyond 1 million galactic units.
Okay. So nobody should like go and take a 48-hour flight outwards, right? Just
kind of a waste of time.
Okay. Because I know some of us are going to try. And I know that the game is partly about exploration, but like I just kind of wanted to give that little small warning there.
Oh, and here's one last question from Double D. Does asteroid fields replenish as one? Is it every asteroid? So asteroid fields replenish. There is a variable timer we control on how often an asteroid can replenish, but each asteroid self-manages. So if you're like mining out a cluster of asteroids here and you deplete them all, it's up to you as the player to remember, okay, let me come back and check here in X hours. Once you identify what that replenish rate is, it's not a guarantee it'll stay that way forever, but it stays that way pretty consistently for a good chunk of time. So you could reliably come back there and be like, okay, yeah, now it's ready to go again. But it's on a per asteroid system.
Oh, it's cool. There was actually the assumption that they all just had a static amount that just gets reloaded. So
nothing static on that. It's all algorithmic.
That's so nice. You guys heard that? That got asked a lot in Discord. Sweet.
All right. I mean, I think that's it for today, guys. This has been great. The rest of the week, we're working on, I think right now, after we get on the stream, I think we're going to be pulling down the servers. We'll be down for a couple hours to do this minor update, primarily to address some updates that our Steam partners would like us to get in there, just to allow payments to be able to be used regardless of account linking. So for those who've used Steam payments so far, right now, if you link your Steam account to a specific CSC account, you can only use your wallet with that. Well, they showed us that we didn't need to do it that way, and we could actually have your wallet work with multiple CSC accounts. So if you're logged into Steam, whatever account you log into for CSC, you'll be able to use your Steam Bucks to purchase items for it.
Nice.
So that's the primary reason for this update. With that, we're pushing some of the 5.5 fixes. Most notably, I'd say check out collision system. See if you could break it or if you get someone stuck. That's something we've been trying to test. We've done some under the hood updates across the board. We still have a lot that we want to deploy with 5.5, mainly when it comes to security and stability. And new game servers, I believe on this one, we will or we may be using the new game servers. So double check that and let you guys know in the build notes.
These are the beefy servers?
They're the beefy servers.
Okay.
They're very beefy. The ones managed by a multiplay who hosts 40 or 50 AAA games.
Nice.
Trying to see what else is on my list here. Yeah, a whole bunch of updates, but those will be coming soon, so the game's going to go offline. But there's still plenty of people, plenty of streamers to chat with and talk to about CSC. We'll try to get it up as soon as possible, but give us at least 2 hours.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that patch. Can't wait to play. Reminder, we have a Twitter event going, guys, just while you're here. Please take some pictures, screenshots of EQ, and submit them to Twitter with the required hashtags and ping us as well. Anything else you'd like to say, Fazri?
No, I mean, today, basically, team's heads down. I know I've been quieter in chat the last few weeks, probably going to be like that till around the Star Trek event, because we have a lot of little details we're still working out. We're down to like what the trails look like beyond the ship and minor lighting adjustments to really reflect the brand. Nice. As soon as we get all that squared away, which should be relatively soon, we'll be good to go. After that, you'll just see the CSC site starting to get updated and deployed to support the auctions and packs.
Very cool. Well, I just want to say thank you everybody for stopping by. We did hit over
we were over 90 people the whole time. That's amazing. Really great. Thank you guys.
Yeah, seriously, it means a lot to us. We're having fun with this. I hope you guys are having fun. We're going to continue doing these streams. Please send your suggestions my way for anything that you want to help us improve, and we'll see you guys next time.
Prosper.
See you guys. See you later.